folded it too much. There it is. Good evening. My name is Elijah Blair, and I've been a member of Barry Show Choir for the past 3 years. I'm very happy to be here tonight to represent Bravura, the Barry Middle School Show Choir. Thank you so much for inviting us to attend this meeting tonight. We really appreciate all of the support we've gotten during this past year. I said it weird too. Bravura is made up of 37 Barry Middle School 7th and 8th grade students, both boys and girls. Rehearsal is held during and after school and some weekends. I am proud to say this group is very dedicated and determined to perform the best possible show on the stage. Our competition show was created by our amazing director, Miss Jordan Hare Banks. The show was about characters trying to decide if they should be heroes or villains. At the end of our show, you as the audience have to determine, are we heroes or are we villains? Now I will hand the mic over to my good friend Stella.
Hello, my name is Stella Wilson, and I've also been a member of the Barry Show Choir for the past 3 years. Throughout our competition season this year, we accumulated the most awards any Barry Show Choir has ever received. To start our season in Vestavia at the Alabama Contempo Choral Festival, we were rated superior. We were awarded 4th place in Montgomery at the Capital City Classic, and our best competition was the Diamond Classic in Albertville, where we were awarded 1st place in our division. Also sweeping the solo competition at Albertville, both male and female soloists. The choir would like to thank everyone who has shown us support, including parents, Mrs. Hatter, faculty, and especially Mrs. Banks. Show choir has given many of us a place to express our love of song and dance, all while becoming part of a choir family. The memories we made this last year and lessons we learned will last us a lifetime. Teamwork and hard work allowed us to be successful this past season. To the HCS Board, we want to thank you for supporting the arts and supporting our passion. Thank you again for inviting us this evening. Have a great night.
Thank you. Outstanding. Thank y'all very much. Thank you.
Rex, you got anything to add?
Just that they were fantastic this past year. And that's my son. Very proud of my son. No, but they were great. It was a lot of fun watching Miss Banks really mold that group into the team they became and go see them perform. And the atmosphere around that team, from her leadership and how the team, those kids came together, it was a lot of fun to watch. So it really speaks to the importance of how the fine arts can, it's that extra thing that can really help gel and help those students spend quality time outside of the classroom and still that socializing and what can you help them accomplish to sing and do those kinds of things. It's something we have to make sure we continue to protect and honor like we have tonight. So really appreciate the chance for them to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Blair. And next up, Bumpus Middle School's Cadence Show Choir. So some students are here with Cadence tonight, along with Director Lindsay Walker. Y'all come on up, please. And I'll tell you some of their accomplishments for this past school year. They include being chosen grand champions, and that is 1st place of the middle school division at the Jasper Foothill Show Choir Classic, and 2nd place in their division at the Capital City Classic. Congratulations to Cadence, and of course, Ms. Walker, you come up and speak a few things for us.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Lindsay Walker, and I'm the choral director at Bumpus. These are some of our student leaders, if y'all will join me. From this, reluctant to come on up. Y'all come on up. From this past school year, we are proud to be representing the Bumpus Choral Department and to be given the opportunity to recognize the efforts of our outstanding students. 2022-2023 was a great year for Bumpus's Cadence Show Choir. I'm going to read a list of our achievements this past school year. We received all superior ratings at the Contempo Choral Festival at Vestavia Hills High School. And at that same competition, we received the People's Choice Award, which is voted on by the audience. We won 2nd place in our division at Capital City Classic in Montgomery, and Allison McElrath was selected as a top finalist in the solo competition. At Jasper Foothills Show Choir Classic at Jasper High School, we were selected grand champions of the middle school division. We also received the following caption awards: Best Vocals, Best Visuals, Best Overall Effect, the People's Choice Award, and Nick Stringer was selected as Best Soloist in a Show from all of the middle school show choir shows that night. And he received that award for the whole middle school division. Nick, will you wave? Additionally, in the solo competition for that competition, Allison McElrath placed second and Faith Makoko placed third. Y'all give a wave. And finally, Cadence Show Choir was selected to perform as part of the STARS program at Universal Studios Orlando, and we performed there in April. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, Simmons Middle School's Synergy Choir Director Dan Taylor, please come up. Represent this very talented students. So some of the things that Synergy has accomplished in the Capital City Classic, Synergy finished first in their division. Additionally, in that competition, Synergy had a rising eighth grader, Parker Jones, who was one of the 4 finalists in the solo competition. I thought you were here by yourself. I'm so glad to see you guys. And I will congratulate you on your successful season. And Dan, if you would talk a little bit about Synergy.
Good evening, Dr. Fowler and board. Thanks for taking this time to recognize not only this group, but all of these groups. I want to also invite Del Kincaid up here as essentially our assistant director, choreographer, brain person of the show. I mean, she's incredible and does so much work for this group. Real quick, just by a show of hands in the room, who has ever endured a 9-hour-long choreography rehearsal? Not many of us, and several out there. It is a singularly challenging, difficult thing to do, and these kids do that regularly. I also want to challenge you to think how you might feel standing center stage at the Montgomery Performing Arts Center as the curtain opens, the lights are in your face, and there's thousands of people in the audience. If that sends shivers up your spine, these kids live for that, and they shine in that moment, and they don't back down from that exciting and for some of us terrifying opportunity. And so, like Mr. Blair said, choir, but also show choir and all of our performing arts do provide such an excellent opportunity for our kids to grow and to become more confident, not only in themselves, but in what they want to do in life, and to gain skills and to gain confidence that will see them through not only their time in Hoover City Schools, but well into college or whatever they choose to do beyond high school and into their adulthood. So thank you for taking this time to recognize them and all of our performing arts groups for all of their just hard work. So thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
That concludes our recognitions board. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Ms. Kincaid, what is the musical going to be next year?
Frozen? Yes,
Frozen.
and we're all very excited. So get ready, you're about to get an invitation. And there's children probably here.
Yes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Dr. Fowler?
Thank you, Mr. Kendrick, and thank you, board. There are 3 items on the consent agenda. This is an anomaly. I'm going to ask Terry Lamar if he would come forward. One of the consent agenda items, I do believe, needs just a quick explanation. It's the 3rd one, Student Code of Conduct. You may remember at our last regularly scheduled board meeting, the changes in the Student Code of Conduct were explained to you for your consideration for this evening. So, Dr. Lamar, if you will hit the high points, please.
Sure. Mainly the high points of this one here is looking at alcohol and make sure it equates to drugs. So in the past, we had alcohol would carry more weight than drugs. So we just want to make sure we look at alcohol and drugs the same way in terms of consequences or punishment. And make sure we add THC in the code of conduct for vapes. A lot of kids and parents are not under understanding of the THC is considered an illegal vape as well. Some of the other ones here that we have, we're making sure we have a recommendation for students of the alternative school program going from 5 days to 3. I'm sorry, from 5 opportunities to go to the alternative school, going to 3. So in other words, as the current conduct looks now, a student would go 5 times before an exposure hearing would be held. Now we're looking at moving that from 5 to 3. And if we had that in place this past academic year, that would have affected only 1 student. And so it's not something that we would think 10, 12, or 15 students would be impacted by, but it's just one of those that we get a kid that going for 5 times, we're looking at 120, 160 days in an alternative program versus doing an exposure for behaviors. The other one, which is a big one for students, and this is one that has come up in the code of conduct multiple times, and that is allowing students, hopefully this won't get printed, allowing students to wear PJs to school. But if they do wear PJs, they cannot have an opening on the front or back. And so are you all good with that as well?
Just trying to,
You got some from back in the old days that had buttons in the back.
Jed Clampett wear those?
Okay, all right.
And the other one is looking at tactical spray or mace, and that moving to a class 2. It's a class 3 if it's being used as a weapon or it's being or trying to be used more as a threat. So those are really the highlights of the code of conduct.
Thank you, Dr. Lamar. Board, I would like to remind you that the changes that come from this are Dr. Lamar leads a committee of administrators that are practitioners that deal with this on a daily basis. One thing that I have reiterated on many occasions to our school administrators is that our schools will be judged on 2 criteria in the public eye: our academics and our discipline. And that we're trying to do things to tighten up our discipline. We think we have good discipline, but we want to make sure that we keep that in the forefront and that we move forward with steps that are practical, that are common sense, and that sometimes things just have to be done that no one enjoys doing. But if we're going to maintain good discipline in school, that's what will have to occur. Dr. Lamar, thank you for
Any other
doing that.
questions? All right, thank you.
So at this time, Board, I do recommend approval of the consent agenda items, a set of minutes from June 13, a regular board meeting, and a set of minutes from a special call meeting, June the 28th, a resolution matter of a legal matter, and the student code of conduct. I do recommend approval of these items.
Board members, do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for the consent agenda? Any second? A second?
Second.
All right, any questions from the board? All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, the consent agenda is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Kendrick, and thank you, Board. The next item are our action items. We only have 2 action items for your consideration this evening. The first are our personnel action items. We're very fortunate. We'll have our HR Director, Christy Williams, with us, and also Dr. Carrie Pate Davidson. They stand ready to answer any questions that you have regarding the personnel matters. I do recommend approval of the personnel actions listed before you.
All right. Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation regarding the personnel action items. Do I have a motion to approve his recommendation? Second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, personnel actions are approved.
Thank you, Mr. Kendrick, and thank you, Board. There's some introductions that I would like to make during the superintendent report. Moving on with our action items, at this time, I'd like to call our Chief School Financial Officer, Ms. McKay, to the dais.
I love recognizing all these students, but I don't like the long walk to the front. But thank you. Good evening, board members. I would like to share with you that this month we're going to review the May 2023 financials. Our cash disbursements for May 2023 were $3,443,722.67. Payroll for June 2023, $12,430,892.87. Included in your packet this evening is the summary and general purpose financial statements for the month ended May 31, 2023. For FY23, 85% of budget revenue has been received for the month ended May 31, 2023. The results of operations represent 8 months of activity, and accordingly, we would anticipate having spent approximately 67% of the budget for recurring expenditures. At this time, those expenditures are 65% of the budget. For the 8 months of activity, the current month's reserve is 11.39 months. In May, we made payments related to the athletic facility upgrade at Bumpus Middle School, locker room renovation at Hoover High School, athletic facility restroom additions at Hoover and Spain Park High Schools, and fluid cooler replacement at River Chase Elementary School. Special revenue expenditures for 8 months of activity were $19.3 million, or 67% of the budget. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. McKay.
Yes, sir.
Board, at this time, I do recommend approval of the business actions Ms. McKay has gone over with you, the monthly financial statement, cash disbursements, and the payroll for June 2023.
Board members, do I have a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation for the business actions? Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All right, I have a second, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, the business actions are approved.
Thank you.
If you would stay, Ms. McKay, please. Thank you, Mr. Kendrick, and thank you, Board. Those conclude the action items. At this time, I would like for us to begin discussion of the budget hearings. As you know, by state law, we are required to have two public, and we are pleased to have them, two public hearings for our budget. Ms. McKay, if you would discuss some dates and some reasonings, and we will see if the board has suggestions and are amenable to any suggestions that we might have.
Perfect. Actually, our board meeting is September the 12th, which is really a great time to have that second budget hearing. I say that because that then gives me time, once the budget's been approved, to get all the paperwork completed and get it submitted before the 15th, which is the due date at the State Department. So I'm wondering if we could do Friday, maybe an AM session, and that way we allow parents that may not be able to attend an evening session that may have an opportunity to meet in the morning. So I wondered if Friday, the 8th of September might be a good day. I think if we wait till that Monday, there's not a lot of time for feedback from the community. If there's anyone that would like to make comments, and then us discuss or look at the existing budget and see if there are any changes that need to be made. But I am open to any other suggestions. Now you're shortening my time frame to get this done. Remember, I don't even have all the information from the State Department yet. No, let me look. Let me look at my calendar and see. I think that would be appropriate. I think we can do that for sure. Do you want to do an AM?
Would the board like to do a morning or like to do a luncheon?
I love mornings as well.
8:30, 8:30, good? Let's shoot for 8:30, and that will give anybody in the community an opportunity to come to an early meeting. And those that can't, we have that opportunity for the following Tuesday for an evening meeting.
That's perfect. I think that's ideal.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
And so the one on the 12th would be like a 4:30?
We'll do a 4:30. Yes, ma'am. So 4:30 on the 12th, 8:30 on the 7th. That's perfect.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
McKay. Thank you, board. Matt, would you come forward for just a moment? Matt doesn't know I'm going to do this. Yeah, he's like, what I do now? Yeah. No, I just want to say, board, how busy that Matt and his department are this summer. All of you received this report, monthly report of the activities that are going on within the district. And I am always awestruck by what he is doing and what he is able to do with our crew during this time. And I just wanted to bring him up, let him know that I appreciate what he's doing, and that I'm sure the board appreciates what he's doing. And as we're working through all of these projects, if you have any questions that you would like to ask him, now would be an appropriate time for any questions that you might have. And I promise you this, I've tried to stump him. You can't stump him. He'll know the answer.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson?
Just a quick update on the Hoover High facility, the theater upgrade. How's that going?
It's coming along, it's on schedule. They're gonna start the roofing, which is, it's in your packet, third week in July, when they're gonna start the roofing. Once that happens, then they'll be working basically on the inside, starting to do the finishes and working on the door frames, and, things like that. Mechanical equipment's here. The cooling tower is not here, it's locally, it's framework being stored, so we don't have any labor mechanical. It looks like that job will finish on time in January.
I don't have any questions, just a comment, because a lot of people don't realize how critical that June, July window is for you and your crew. All the things that need to be done while the students are out and a lot of the staff are out, so that we can be ready to roll on August 10th. And I know it's a lot, and I appreciate all that you guys do.
You're very welcome. I know I went through my summer project list today, and I calculated out between May and start of school, I have about 289 projects going on that are outside of what's in the school. So we got a lot going on district-wide.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Spain Park Theater. Work on final drawing specifications, and it will be ready to bid in January. And they'll also bid, are we also bidding for sound lighting?
That's all part of that same project.
That's part of the whole thing. And will we do that in accordance with Hoover High School? Or is it two? We're gonna do
It's
two
two
totally different?
separate, but they're trying to make them very similar based on what the current design is. And the planned construction period for that is mid-March through end of July. So we anticipate having that back and open for the fall semester in 2024. So we're trying to minimize that construction period so we impact school the least amount possible.
For the Spain Park?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
All right, thank you.
Sorry to put you on the spot like that. And before
No, it's not.
before I start introducing folks, very pleased to see Mr. Blair, to see your picture on the wall. So
I guess I'm official now.
you're more than
Your
official.
probation's over.
Still, your big brother Alan may have some hazing. I don't know. Board, during the personnel actions, you did recommend several administrative positions that we're very proud to introduce to you tonight. At this time, I'd like to call Scott Mitchell, principal of Brock Scout, to come forward and make a presentation and introduction to you, please. And I think you may accompany him. You're his presentation.
I'm surprised it's Matt that I've called to the front, but I'm pleased to introduce Miss Emily Dunleavy. I appreciate the board and superintendent for recommending her and for approving her. We're stealing her from Shelby County, and so we've got a week we're going to share her with them before she comes over and gets to work at Brock Scout. So we're pleased to get her started next week. Miss Emily Dunleavy.
Thank you. Welcome. Look forward to seeing you on campus. Thank you. This time I'd like to ask Dr. Esslinger, Spain Park High School, to please come forward, and I think she has a presentation also that's coming.
Thank you, Dr. Fowler, and thank you, Board. I'm happy to be here tonight to introduce Mr. Eddie Cunningham as the new Assistant Principal at Spain Park. Mr. Cunningham receives his undergraduate and master's degrees in exceptional education from Alabama State University, and he received his educational specialist degree from the University of Montevallo. As an exceptional education teacher, he served as department chair as well as a basketball coach. And he is the recipient of the Jefferson County Sheriff's Selfless Act Award as well as the Tazro Award of Valor. And that's a great story that he can tell y'all one day. For the past 15 years, he has served as an assistant principal. So in addition to his extremely well-rounded resume that includes school safety, discipline, attendance, and student support, Mr. Cunningham is a man of strong character who excels at mentoring students to help them grow and find their path to success. We are happy to welcome him and his wife, Jackie, to the Spain Park family.
And I will say that Dr. Esslinger shared with me that Mr. Cunningham was the best disciplinarian that she had ever worked with. High praise. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. White, Gwynn Elementary, please come forward.
Thank you, Board. I'd like to recognize and introduce our new assistant principal at Gwynn Elementary School. This is Mr. Hunter Nichols, who comes to us from Jasper City Schools. Mr. Nichols has vast experience in working with students in elementary school. He also is coming to us with experience teaching third grade, which we thought was very impressive. That's a very difficult grade in elementary school to teach, and we are very proud that he feels like he is a strong disciplinarian, and we have heard great things about his relationship building with students, but also about the strides that he makes in the classroom with his students as well academically. So Mr. Nichols comes to us recently married. His wife also is a teacher, and they are very dedicated to education, as we are as well at Gwynn Elementary. So we're very pleased to introduce him and welcome him to the Gwynn family.
Dr. White, before you leave, will you say why Quincy Collins is not here congratulating?
Well, I will say Mr. Collins also thought very highly of Mr. Nichols. He, last board meeting, recommended Mr. Nichols to be a second grade teacher. And that was a great plan, but we had a better plan for Mr. Nichols at Gwynn. So he has texted me his approval. So I'm very happy to say that we're still friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, from Hoover High School, Ms. Jennifer Hogan.
Thank you, Dr. Fowler, and thank you, Board. I'm proud to introduce Mary Johnson as the new assistant principal at Hoover High School. Mary has been an AP calculus teacher at Hoover High School, and she's taught all sections of math at Hoover High School for over 20 years. She is of excellent character. She's been leading without a title. She has served to help with PST. She's helped with summer school. She's the type of person that when she sees a problem, she's automatically thinking of solutions. And we are just so excited to add her onto the admin team at Hoover High School.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Hogan. I've sent several emails your way that you've taken care of, and I really appreciate you. Next up is Dr. Turney from River Chase Elementary School.
Good evening. Thank you so much for approving. This is Matt Stevens. We did not steal him from another district, but we did steal him from the other side of town. So he has spent much of his time in middle school and high school on the Hoover feeder zones. And we're fortunate enough to have him come over. Though he doesn't have a lot of school experience with younger children, he does have a lot of experience with younger children through his neighborhood, through community activities, and through his own personal children. So he has strong instructional values and curriculum implementation. So
We have gotten him busy and signed up for all kinds of things for little people as well. He has a great reputation. Checked him out from top to bottom. Miss Hogan gave her stamp of approval as well as his neighbors. So we're excited to have him at River Chase. So, as well as his son and his wife and daughter who stepped out for a minute.
All
There
right.
they are.
There they
Thanks.
are.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go.
good.
Thanks. Welcome.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. This time I'd like to call Dr. Lamar to the podium. This was an approval that you made at the last meeting, but for logistical reasons, we weren't able to recognize the candidate at this time. Dr. Lamar?
She did not want to steal Ms. Hogan's thunder, so, at the last meeting. But this is Dr. Donna Smiley. She has been in the education arena since 1998. She began her career as a science teacher with Bessemer City Schools District and later moved to Hoover City School District in 2007. It was in the building formerly known as the Hoover High School Freshman Campus that she continued to teach science. Dr. Smiley joined the Hoover High administrative team in 2018 until her move to the central office as the new coordinator of administrative services. She earned her bachelor's degree in biology from Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, then added a master's in education specialist degrees from the University of Alabama at Birmingham. She has her doctorate in education leadership from Stanford University in December 2022. Dr. Smiley has two amazing children, Jeffrey Smiley II. It's like, look, that wasn't part of the plan. And
Nobody told me about that.
And Dakota Smiley. And we are honored to have Dr. Smiley serving in the role of coordinator of administrative services for Hoover City School District.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call Dr. Donna Burke. And for those that may raise an eyebrow to her doctorate, she did receive an honorary doctorate at the retreat, at the administrator's retreat last week.
I need to bring that certificate so you'll start paying me. Yes, he loves to pick on me. I'm Donna Burke at Bumpus Middle School. This is Miss Carrie Eford. She is our new assistant principal. She comes to us from Georgia, and then she came to Bluff Park as a general aide, and then she came to us as a math interventionist, and she has just moved her way up. She's a math expert, and you talk about initiative. I called her this morning and I said, we need to get on those spreadsheets. They're done. That's what she does. She does them ahead of what I'm even thinking of, which y'all know that's probably very important. But we're very proud to have her, and she will be leading our math curriculum and our elective curriculum. And go Bucks. Go
Thank
Bucks.
you. Thank you. Dr. Lamar, did I forget anyone? Very good. At this time, Mr. Kendrick and board, those are all of the reports that I have and all the action items that I have. I now turn the agenda back over to you, sir.
Board members, as you observed in the personnel report, that among the things that we approved was our superintendent's resignation. So we had a work session. His resignation has been announced. It's been approved. It's happening.
Yes, sir.
So we must fill the upcoming vacancy in the office of superintendent, okay? In order to comply with Alabama law, a notice of vacancy will be posted for 30 days. The notice of vacancy contains a description of the job, the required qualifications, information regarding salary, and instructions on how to apply and where to obtain and submit the application. The notice will be posted tomorrow on July 12th, 2023, and interested applicants will have until August the 14th, 2023 to apply. The board has asked the law firm of Bishop Colvin LLC to serve as contact for interested applicants and to accept applications on its behalf. The board may or may not interview some or all of the finalists. The board intends to complete the process and name a successor for Dr. Fowler shortly thereafter. So that's all I have on that board. Did I cover it all? Any questions or comments? All right, with that said, our next regularly scheduled board meeting is Tuesday, August. Craig, go ahead. Go ahead. Say it, Craig.
Well, I want to just remind a little bit more, Dr. Charles Pickens died in June. Dr. Emma wrote one book on the Board of Education, and Hoover, and the revised edition. In fact, he was here not too long ago to present the board on the second copy of it. That's the book. So Dr. Hickman is on that wall up there. He's on the two on the picture. He was on the family board members. He will be missed. I spent several lunches with Dr. Hickman. If I called him and asked for advice, we had lunch with him the next day. And so he will be missed. Sergeant Matt Hardy was our SRO here. For Sergeant we have now. And Doc Hardy is now an SRO in one of our schools now. So the legacy continues on. Miss Joyce, I believe they were married 66 years.
Wow.
She survived, so they still live in Hoover, right above Hoover Country Club. And so he's going to be missed. I haven't said this to the board, but I'd like to suggest at some point that we honor Dr. Hickman, possibly with the board member. That's what I say.
Great idea. Great idea. Any other questions or comments from board? All right. The next regular board meeting is Tuesday, August the 8th at 5:30. At this time, we will have public comment. If any. All right, seeing no one approach the podium, we are adjourned.